7 million cases, overtaking Brazil and making it the second worst affected country after the United States, which is at 7.7 million. However, its total number of deaths is just over 100,000, half that of the US death toll. And in France, 2 small planes have collided in mid-air before crashing in central France, killing 5 people according to local officials. No one else was harmed when the planes came down. Julia McFarlane, ABC News at the Foreign Desk in London.
The perfect fall entree in today's Cooking with Kathy Casey.
When the days grow shorter and the weather begins to cool off, I start thinking about chili. It's protein-packed, warm and filling, and especially good for those weekend game days. The key to a good chili is in the spices. Did you know that sautéing your chili spices helps to bring out the flavor? There are a ton of chili recipes out there, from white bean and chicken to a 4-bean bonanza with meat, vegetarian, mild, or smokestack hot. One of my favorite recipes starts with chunks of pork, lots of spices, onion, a bottle of Northwest Brew, tomatoes, and some kidney beans. Then I add a chopped apple in for a touch of sweetness. Let that slowly simmer on the stovetop or in the crock pot, and be sure to make a lot, as you know it's going to always taste better the next day. Serve it with toppings like sour cream, some grated Northwest cheese like Tillamook cheddar, onions, jalapenos, and yup, I like some crushed corn chips to add some crunch. For my chili recipe, visit dishingwithkathykasey.com. This is Kathy Casey for Como News.
Como Radio News. Stay connected, stay informed, and check back 2, 3, 4 times a day for the news that affects you, plus traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the Force, the Northwest News Station. This is Como News.
And now your weekend consumer tip. Here's Como's consumer man, Herb Weisbaum.
We're in the midst of a killer pandemic, and flu season is right around the corner. And yet 1 in 3 parents say their kids won't get vaccinated against the flu this year. That's according to a just-released nationwide survey of nearly 2,000 parents by Mott Children's Hospital at the University of Michigan.
Ask the 35 to 60,000 Americans every year who die from influenza if it's serious or not.
Dr. John Swartzberg is an infectious disease expert at the UC Berkeley School of Public Health. He says immunizing children aged 6 months and older is extremely important.
Children are the ones, when they get the flu, they spread it to their parents and grandparents and everybody else. So to control influenza in our society, we need to have children vaccinated, both to protect them and to protect the rest of society.
One more reason parents say their kids won't get the flu shot this year. Some worry about the side effects. Dr. Swartzberg says they're typically minor and may include a painful arm, muscle aches, or a low-grade fever. More in the consumer section of ComoNews.com. Herb Weisbaum, Como News.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could see what's cooking by knocking on the oven door or lounging on the sofa? Lowe's has now added an LG Smooth Surface electric range that does just that. Knock twice on the door, the oven light comes on. Use the ThinkQ app on a smartphone and check in from anywhere. Another exciting feature is the built-in air fry. You can quickly prepare snacks like fries, hot wings, and more for the crunch you crave without the oil. When you're ready to bring home innovation this fall, Lowe's is here with just what you need. Available on Android, iOS, and LG devices. An LG ThinkQ account is required. U.S. only.
Como News 1000 and FM 97.7.
Okay, today's mail coupon bill. Oh, what's this? My vote by mail ballot. Let's see. Fill it out, sign it, return it at an official drop box at my polling place, or just mail it. No stamp needed. Oh, I can track its status online with Where's My Ballot. You really can track everything these days. Vote by mail ballots. Simple, safe, secure, counted. Learn more at vote.ca.gov. Paid for by the California Secretary of State.
KOMO Seattle, KOMO FM Oakville.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson.
I've been tested totally negative. I'm going to be out in Florida tomorrow working very hard because this is an election we have to win. This is the most important election of our lives.
President Trump telling a call to prayer event to Arizona supporters in past hours. A statement from President Trump's physician, Sean Conley, last night said the president is no longer considered a transmission risk to others and says his viral load is decreasing, but doesn't say whether he's COVID-free and doesn't say whether he's off medication. Now there's a public dispute between the Trump campaign and the man who has always said he's nonpartisan, heading a nonpartisan scientific infectious disease government agency.
Dr. Anthony Fauci pushed back over the use of a clip in a Trump campaign ad in which Fauci says, "I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more." Fauci says the comment was taken out of context, is from back in March, and that it was used without his permission. The Trump campaign disputed the comment was used improperly and then released a campaign email of quotes from Fauci praising the administration's response. Most are from March and April. It's a remarkable feud brewing as the Trump campaign looks to reframe the conversation around the administration's response to COVID-19. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
President Trump attacking the latest ABC News Washington Post poll in which Democratic challenger Joe Biden holds a 17-point lead when it comes to being trusted to handle the coronavirus pandemic. Nate Silver, editor-in-chief with ABC News Partner 538, says the COVID response could have an impact with older voters.
According to the CDC, the infection fatality rate for COVID for someone age 70 or older is about 200 times higher than for a 42-year-old me.
The number of people hospitalized in Arkansas with COVID has hit a record high today, 576, says the state health department. Arkansas's population is about 3 million, says the Census Bureau. Surges in coronavirus expected to lead to reimposing restrictions in France, Spain, and Britain. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you ever thought about saying goodbye to your job? Just walking into your boss and saying, I quit. And how would you like to commute to work without ever leaving your home? Well, not long ago, a 39-year-old entrepreneur from a billionaire family spent $20 million in 3 years to find the best home-based business in North America. He researched 70 different companies, and when he found the only one that had real long-term potential, he bought it. And right now, he's looking for people to help him turn this company into his next billion-dollar success story. So if you're serious about making money from home without having to leave your home, well, grab a pen. Because I'm about to give you the address of a website where you can learn all about this unique and rare opportunity. Write this down, www.goherenext.com. Now get on your computer and go to this site now. Part-time or full-time, your income is based totally on your performance. Interested? GoHereNext.com and say goodbye to your boss tomorrow. GoHereNext.com.
Naked ballots now won't be counted in an important swing state. That's a court decision after the Trump campaign sued. ABC's Devin Dwyer.
A record 2.5 million Pennsylvania voters have requested to vote by mail this fall, Democrats outnumbering Republicans in requests by more than 2 to 1. 16 states send secrecy envelopes to voters, but Pennsylvania is the only state that will now disqualify ballots that arrive without one and give voters no way to fix the mistake.
Fire investigators looking into what caused a wildfire that killed 4 people in Northern California's Shasta County have seized equipment belonging to Pacific Gas and Electric. That according to the utility. The fire scorched 88 square miles, destroyed more than 200 buildings. It's almost fully contained. Being tested against COVID by scientists in the UK, a tuberculosis vaccine from 1921. ABC's Julia McFarlane in London.
While scientists don't expect it to provide protection specifically against coronavirus, previous studies show it has boosted the immune system and prevented respiratory diseases in several countries, and hope it may be able to buy some time before a COVID-19 vaccine is readily available.
Related to COVID?
Several NFL coaches have reportedly been fined this season for not wearing face coverings. The NFL's Referee Association firing off a complaint to the NFL, taking issue with Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh yelling at a referee with his face mask pulled down.
Our Stephanie Ramos. This is ABC News.
KOMO News time is 5:04. We have KOMO traffic every 10 minutes on the 4s. Evan Smith has the latest.
Still working on a few areas of slowing due to inclement weather. We're still pretty slow on northbound 5, making our way out of Tumwater into Olympia past the 101 interchange due to an earlier accident, or rather earlier few set of accidents have since cleared. Southbound 5 getting caught up just a bit in the immediate area as well, making our way into Lacey. We're seeing a bit of hesitation northbound 5 around the Tacoma Dome. Nothing too bad over right there at this time. Our next report is at 5:14. I'm Evan Smith. KOMO traffic.
Abby Aconi has our forecast.
We are tracking soggy and windy weather across the Puget Sound lowlands tonight and gearing up for quieter weather overall as we go into Monday before our next fall storm sets its sight to blast through our backyard on Tuesday. Throughout the remainder of this evening, we're gearing up for gusts roughly ranging between 20 and 40 miles per hour, but can't rule out some isolated higher totals over communities like North Bend and over the South Sound. Still watching the possibility for on and off again rain, with those showers wrapping up early tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist Abby Aconi in the KOMO Weather Center.
Rainy right now, 55 degrees in Seattle.
Stay connected. Stay informed. Como's Sunday.
Good evening. It is 5:05. I'm Kelly Blyer with the top local stories from the Como 24/7 News Center. Bill Gates is hoping when we get a coronavirus vaccine, people will be able to get it in drive-thrus. He spoke about it on NBC's Meet the Press this morning.
Only way we'll get completely back to normal is by having not the first generation vaccines, but eventually a vaccine that is super effective and that a lot of the people take.
Gates says the U.S. could be looking at an even higher death toll if our response doesn't improve, especially with testing. He says our testing system just isn't good enough when it comes to who has access to it. More dire predictions from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at UW. Como's Suzanne Fawn reports the latest estimates call for nearly 400,000 to die by February 1st.
The flu season could make things worse, and holidays are approaching.
People were unable to stay home for 4th of July. We can't really expect them to do the same for the bigger holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I think it's inevitable that things are going to get quite a bit worse.
Dr. McDodd also says we need to watch out for super spreaders, like what happened at the White House several weeks ago.
So we have to be extremely concerned about these events that will encourage super spreaders, football games or anything else.
For Bonzel and his family, the virus isn't slowing them down. They're just taking more precautions.
I definitely think it's going to get worse before it gets better, and we just have to adjust to the new normal.
In Seattle, Suzanne Fawn, Como News.
Pierce County health leaders are dealing with a third spike in COVID cases there, 98 new cases in the last day. Como's Patrick Quinn says officials fear things will get worse before they get better. He spoke with the director of Pierce County Health, Dr. Anthony Chen.
Dr. Chen believes this surge started from Labor Day gatherings. Half of the latest cases are from those under 40 years old. He stressed his county needs to get back to the basics, stay vigilant, mask up. For he says recent data shows we haven't seen the worst of this latest surge.
Based on what we're already seeing, the trend is going to stay up. We do not believe in 2 weeks it's going to miraculously turn around.
Dr. Chen says if the count continues on this pace, any schools practicing in-person learning should officially make the switch to remote learning by October 26. 2 suspects in California have been arrested for the murder of a woman in Mason County. The sheriff's office announced 37-year-old Matthew Collette and 28-year-old Lily Kadeen Craig were arrested in Humboldt County in Northern California today. The body of Rachel Renee Roberts was found near Lake Cushman, just north of Shelton, earlier this month. An autopsy revealed that she was attacked and suffocated. There are growing concerns about flooding as families brace for another round of heavy rain in some parts of Puget Sound. Storm drains clogged with piles of leaves in some neighborhoods. Como's Tammy Mutasa was in the Bothell area to chat with residents.
A river of rushing water gushed into Shane Cruz's driveway, even flowing over a sandbag.
It fills up my garage here, so it's damaged furniture and items in here.
Shane lives across the street from several storm drains at Bothell High School. This is the second time in just weeks another storm sent water racing onto his property, eroding his driveway and pushing debris in his backyard.
It's torn up this pathway. I just fixed it after the last storm 2 weeks ago.
He is anxiously bracing for another round of roaring rain.
And you can kind of see it. Okay, better get the sandbags out. You know, but this year it happened quickly. And it happened twice, and it's not even winter.
That's Como's Tammy Mutasa reporting. Tacoma firefighters battled a commercial fire at 23rd and Taylor Way this morning. Happened in an industrial area off of Commencement Bay. It broke out between 4 and 4:30 this morning at Gardner Fields, a company that makes asphalt. Tacoma Fire reports multiple explosions made fighting that fire very difficult. And a handful of ferry sailings from Edmonds to Kingston were canceled yesterday afternoon after lightning struck the ferry Puyallup. Washington State Ferries said the vessels are built to take a lightning strike. We do know the compass on the boat was damaged. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it did hold sailings for a period of time till the storm passed. No other ferry routes were affected. Como News Time is 5:10 from the Beacon Plumbing Sports Desk. Seahawks game about to get underway. Dave Lewis has the latest.
Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Late in the first period, the Lakers on top of Miami 21-16 and lead the series 3-2. More of the same at Roland Garros as the great Rafa Nadal claimed his 13th French Open title. A straight-sets win over Novak Djokovic. 6-love, 6-2, 7-5, basically flawless in the first two sets.
For 2 sets and a half, I played great, honestly. I can't say another thing. It's impossible to have this scored against him without playing great. We played a very good final. I played at my highest level when I needed to play at my highest level.
For Nadal, his 20th Grand Slam title, tying with Roger Federer for tops all-time among men in the Open era. Sports at 10:40 past the hour. I'm Dave Lewis, KOMO News.
Before your next flooring job, make Lowe's your first stop. See the latest styles in our new flooring showroom. We carry more tile, more vinyl, more laminate and hardwood than ever before. Whatever you need, we have the job lot quantities you expect at bulk pricing to save you money. Shop in store or online at lowesforpros.com. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Our pro team can help you get the job done right and on time. It's just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Regina King for Cadillac Escalade.
When people ask, Regina, do you like to compete? I say, bring it on. Those are the moments that drive you to achieve more. And when you win, you keep reaching higher. To me, that's what the Cadillac Escalade represents. It's always evolving in technology, in design, everything. Because success isn't the end, it's just the first step to what comes next.
The 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Never stop arriving.
Today's the day to save big and drive home a new Toyota with huge factory cash back, like $3,500 back on a new 2020 Avalon or Avalon Hybrid, $3,000 back on Camry Hybrid, $1,750 back on Sienna, Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or RAV4, $1,500 on Camry. There's even $1,250 back on RAV4 Hybrid. So hurry in today. We make it easy. Must take delivery from 2020 new car dealer stock by midnight November 2nd. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Toyota. Let's go places.
Right now, more than 125,000 children are waiting to be adopted from foster care. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption works around the clock to find them the permanent, loving homes they deserve. You can help. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Today's the day to save big and drive home a new Toyota with huge factory cash back, like $3,500 back on a new 2020 Avalon or Avalon Hybrid, $3,000 back on Camry Hybrid, $1,750 back on Sienna, Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or RAV4, $1,500 on Camry. There's even $1,250 back on RAV4 Hybrid. So hurry in today. We make it easy. Must take delivery from 2020 new car dealer stock by midnight November 2nd. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Toyota. Let's go places.
That sound is why we fund life-saving science. That sound is why we push you to be healthier. That sound is why we have an unhealthy obsession with your health at American Heart Association. Get the facts at heart.org/yourhealth.
KOMO traffic.
Working on reports of a collision, in Seattle on Denny Way at Terry Avenue. Use caution making your way through that area. Meanwhile, we have still a bit of hesitation on northbound 5 due to an early collision near Capitol Boulevard. This hesitation has now moved into the Lacey area as it continues to slowly clear out. You're now slow in areas from about Slater Kinney on up to about Carpenter Road or so. Also a bit of hesitation north 5 by the main gate. North 5 also getting caught up by the Tacoma Dome, and we're seeing a little bit of hesitation on southbound 5 around the Ship Canal Bridge. Our next report is at 5:24. I'm Evan Smith, KOMO Traffic.
The KOMO forecast.
We are tracking rain and wind across western Washington tonight with quieter and more tranquil conditions overall as we go into Monday before next fall storm moves through western Washington on Tuesday. For tonight, we will be dealing with some scattered showers from time to time. Rain could come down at a moderate or even heavy rate. Convergence zone, a possibility over portions of Skagit, Snohomish, or King counties, primarily up over the higher elevations of the foothills. Gusts between 20 and 40 miles per hour for many. I'm meteorologist Abby Coney in the KOMO Weather Center.
Stay connected. Stay informed. The Northwest's only 24-hour news station. KOMO News 1000, FM 97.7.
Republicans have provided strong support for President Trump the last 4 years, but some up for election are worried about what his concerning poll numbers mean for them. The Political Roundtable on This Week debates.
From ABC News, it's This Week. Here now.
Now, Chief White House Correspondent Jonathan Carr.
Lonnie, how worried are Republicans down ballot? I mean, we saw Mitch McConnell come out and say that he hasn't been at the White House in more than 2 months. We saw Senator Cornyn say some critical things about the way the president has handled this. And then Martha McSally at a debate out in Arizona refusing to say whether or not she is proud of her support for Donald Trump. Are you starting to get a sense that Republicans down ballot are getting not just nervous, but thinking about distancing themselves from this president?
John, this has always been the fundamental challenge for Republicans who are running in these very difficult contested statewide races, is that on the one hand, you've got to be able to ensure that the Trump base, those who support the president, those who affiliate with the president, that they turn out to support you, because you're not going to win a campaign if you're Joni Ernst in Iowa or Martha McSally in Arizona. You need that base to show up. On the other hand, the more closely that you tie yourself to the president, the more challenging it's become, particularly over the last couple of weeks, to gain the support of undecided voters, swing voters, some of the voters that you all interviewed in Arizona who have gone between the parties. It becomes much more challenging for them. So you've got to make a decision at this point. Do you continue to tether very strongly to the president, or do you not? Now, in some districts, you're seeing people do that. You're still seeing some who are tying themselves very closely to the president. But in other places, you mentioned McSally, Tom Tillis in North Carolina. You got a few other examples, Joni Ernst in Iowa, who are running very good campaigns otherwise, who are good candidates, who've got good records for those states. I think they're making the decision, look, we're going to run to be essentially the leader of a particular state, and they are trying to be much more independent from the president. I think at this point that probably is the right strategy, given what they're seeing in the numbers, given some of the president's weakness, particularly on COVID, which does seem to be an overriding issue. So I do think you're going to continue to see over these next 20 days as this campaign winds down, these candidates try to make an effort to say, look, don't worry about the president, don't worry about the Republican Party, think about whether you want me to continue as your incumbent. And I think that is going to be the compelling message for some of these candidates down the stretch here.
John, can I bring up one point that's, I think, relevant in our poll? You have one of the biggest gender gaps ever recorded for a presidential election. And then step back and look at 2 events this week, or 3 actually. One is the President of the United States calls Kamala Harris a monster. Second, in that debate, Vice President Pence continues to interrupt Senator Harris and not allow her to finish, and also does that to the moderator. And third, when the governor of Michigan, her life is threatened, rather than reach out to her and see if she's okay and thank the FBI for great work, the President of the United States also then attacks the governor of Michigan. I think if you look at that, they not only have a massive gender problem, they are doubling down on that problem by continuing to attack women who have accomplished a great deal and make sure that they have a gender gap that I think I'm surprised what they have done in the last week. And you can see it in our own poll here for ABC Washington Post. You have the largest spread ever, and there's a hostility to women who are in elected office or in business or in any other life by this administration, and they're exacerbating what is clearly a problem. And it's not just on the policies, it's a cultural way and a stylistic way that have alienated women voters of all economic, educational, and of any ethnic or racial background. And it's just self-evident.
Rachel, we have Supreme Court confirmation hearings beginning this week. Do you have any sense that the campaign's trying to make that more of a central issue? Because we're not. They haven't succeeded. It's obviously the controversy over the decision to go forward, but we don't hear much from them. What are they going to do to try to make that an issue instead of coronavirus?
Well, this is an issue that the campaign was trying to rally their base around. You remember those chants of "fill that seat." Less than 24 hours after Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, there were chants of that at the president's one of the president's rallies there. And so, look, the campaign wants this to be a central issue for the president's base. They want their supporters to believe that the president's pushing forward, trying to cement this conservative majority. But there are even still questions lingering about abortion and Roe versus Wade. We saw the vice president not committing to an answer on whether or not he would like to see Roe versus Wade overturned, even though that is something that he has said in the past. He said that in 2016 in a Fox News interview, and even some vulnerable Senate Republicans trying to create some distance with themselves on that front. And a lot of it has to do with public polling. When you look at a CBS News poll from June, 49% of Republicans say that they would like to see Roe versus Wade stay just the way it is. But to your point, John, they want the focus to turn away from this pandemic.
You're listening to KOMO News.
Your money at 20 and 50 past the hour on Como News.
Como's Money Report is sponsored by Propel Insurance.
From ABC News, Wall Street Weekend. It's a shorter trading week. Only equities markets are open Monday, Columbus Day. Among the reports that could affect markets this week, on Tuesday we get a look at the cost of living with the Consumer Price Index. Then Wednesday, the Producer Price Index. Thursday, there are some weekly reports on employment, including initial claims for jobless benefits, which have been over 800,000 for several weeks, after being 1 million or more for many weeks before that. Friday, there are reports about retail sales, industrial production, business inventories, and consumer sentiment. Twitter is imposing tough new rules leading up to and following the election. Tweets that falsely claim a candidate has won will be labeled and will direct users to the official U.S. election results page on Twitter. Posts that encourage violence will be removed. People in Maine are getting their first opportunity to legally buy marijuana for adult recreational use. It's the 11th state to do so, and there are a few stores so far. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Breathe in, breathe out, and take in the healing qualities of Ayurveda at Southern California University of Health Sciences, balancing your mind, body, and spirit.
After living with my arthritis for over 10 years, I made the choice. Thanks to the personalized treatment I received, I now live a pain-free life.
Discover how Ayurveda can change your life at findyourbalancetoday.com.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could see what's cooking by knocking on the oven door or lounging on the sofa? Lowe's has now added an LG Smooth Surface electric range that does just that. Knock twice on the door, the oven light comes on. Use the ThinkQ app on a smartphone and check in from anywhere. Another exciting feature is the built-in air fry. You can quickly prepare snacks like fries, hot wings, and more for the crunch you crave without the oil. When you're ready to bring home innovation this fall, Lowe's is here with just what you need. Available on Android, iOS, and LG devices. An LG ThinkQ account is required. U.S. only.
76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone. Ask about your company's emotional health benefits. Visit heart.org/sharing. Brought to you by the American Heart Association.
Before I was adopted, I felt like nobody wanted me. I felt like my life was already over.
At a certain age, they don't want you. You're troubled and stuff. Even if I wanted to be adopted, who would adopt a 17-year-old?
Inside, I knew, I'm not a troubled kid. I know what I'm in for, why I'm here.
My biggest fear was that I would age out and not know how to be sufficient on my own.
I had nightmares every single day at my birth mom's house. It was just really scary for me living there.
I was scared, I was lost, and I felt hopeless.
I felt like, don't I deserve to feel happy and loved?
I just wish I'd gotten adopted sooner.
Unfortunately, the number of children waiting to be adopted from foster care is on the rise. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is the only public nonprofit charity in the U.S. focused exclusively on foster care adoption. You can help. Go to davethomasfoundation.org to learn more.
Today's the day to save big and drive home a new Toyota with huge factory cash back, like $3,500 back on a new 2020 Avalon or Avalon Hybrid, $3,000 back on Camry Hybrid, $1,750 back on Sienna, Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or RAV4, $1,500 on Camry. There's even $1,250 back on RAV4 Hybrid. So hurry in today. We make it easy. Must take delivery from 2020 new car dealer stock by midnight November 2nd. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Toyota. Let's go places.
You don't feel right. You sleep plenty, but you're always tired. Your joints hurt. You push through it. It could be lupus. We're here to help. Learn more at BeFierceTakeControl.org. Brought to you by the Lupus Foundation of America and CDC.
Como traffic.
Working on a new issue northbound 5 at Boeing Access, just north of Boeing Access Road, we have fallen trees partially blocking the right lane, causing a bit of hesitation. And now March on Board Avenue at Olive Way, blocking all lanes at the intersection. And working on a crash involving a vehicle going into a barrier on the 53,400 block of State Route 2 heading eastbound in Sultan. Our next report is at 5:34. I'm Evan Smith, Como traffic.
The KOMO forecast.
We are tracking blustery conditions across the greater Seattle area and western Washington as a whole. In general, those gusts tonight ranging between 20 and 40 miles per hour, but I can't entirely rule out some isolated higher gusts over communities like North Bend or possibly the South Sound. Those wind speeds start gradually subsiding after midnight, dying down overall by sunrise tomorrow. Similarly, we will be dealing with some rain tonight, with that starting to wrap up tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist Abby Acone in the KOMO Weather Center.
Hurricane Delta leaving a trail of devastation in its wake after making landfall in Louisiana last week. Thousands of residents still without power, some without livable homes. Some, though, like the Cormiers of Lake Charles, were lucky this time. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is there.
In southwest Louisiana, people there now left to pick up the pieces once again. Hurricane Delta bringing a demoralizing blow to the city of Lake Charles just 6 weeks after Category 4 Hurricane Laura struck in nearly the same spot. Down the street, the Cormiers are seeing their house for the first time since evacuating to Houston.
9 hours.
9 hours drive.
Yes.
Normally 2.5, right?
Yes.
So many homes with blue tarps on them from the last hurricane, and now many of them torn up from Hurricane Delta.
President Trump's bid to redirect more than $3.5 billion in Defense Department funds to pay for building his border wall is illegal, according to a San Francisco federal appeals court.
The 2-1 decision by a 3-judge panel of the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upholds a lower court ruling by an Oakland federal judge. California Attorney General Javier Becerra is praising the decision for, quote, putting a stop to this desperate attempt by President Trump to steal public funds. California and 8 other states sued to block the transfer of funds. Dina Kodiak, NBC News Radio.
I'm jumping in with my clothes on.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Before your next flooring job, make Lowe's your first stop. See the latest styles in our new flooring showroom. We carry more tile, more vinyl, more laminate and hardwood than ever before. Whatever you need, we have the job lot quantities you expect at bulk pricing to save you money. Shop in store or online at lowesforpros.com. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Our pro team can help you get the job done right and on time. It's just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. U.S. only.
BenefitsCheckup.org is a free website where people over 60 can see if they qualify to help pay for food, medicine, even utilities. BenefitsCheckup.org helped me get $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
Work, school, grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, the gym, to the airport to pick up loved ones, to the kids' soccer games, piano lessons, out for movie night, to hear your favorite band in the city, over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and on last year's amazing road trip. Your vehicle takes you so many places. Protect it. When you leave your vehicle, remember to always take your keys or key fob with you and lock the doors. If you suspect auto theft, contact the National Insurance Crime Bureau at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB, or visit our website at www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
KOMO News 1000, FM 97.7, winner of the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Award for Best Newscast.
City streets or small towns, everyone deserves a clean, green community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Let's do beautiful things. Visit KAB.org.
As smart as our pets might be, they can't advocate for themselves. That's why it's important your pet is part of your family's disaster preparedness plan. Talk to your veterinarian and visit banfieldfoundation.org/disaster.
You may not realize how important 3 letters can be. For a patient who needs type A, B, or O blood, these letters can mean life, but there simply aren't enough people giving blood. Every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs it, but only about 3% of the population donates. Without more donors, hospitals may not have the blood needed to save lives. That's why the American Red Cross needs people to help restore the A's, B's, and O's that are depleting each day. When you make your appointment to donate blood at redcrossblood.org/missing types, you can help give strength to kids, parents, and grandparents who face life and death challenges. From cancer patients to accident survivors waiting for critical surgeries, your generosity can give someone more life. Don't wait until the letters A, B, and O are missing from hospital shelves. You are the missing type patients need. Visit redcrossblood.org/missing types or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make your donation appointment today.
Como News 1000 and FM 97.7.
President Trump adding more in-person campaign events this week, starting with an airport hangar rally in Florida. ABC's Rachel Scott.
A Trump campaign official tells me that the president's supporters will be instructed to wear a face mask. They will be handing them out. The president here is trying to make up for some lost ground.
President Trump attacking the credibility of our latest ABC News Washington Post poll, showing him 12 points behind Democratic challenger Joe Biden. President telling a prayer event to Arizona supporters that he's tested negative for COVID, is fully recovered and immune. That's not been confirmed by the White House or his doctor. The Trump campaign saying it's properly used Dr. Anthony Fauci's own words in an ad praising the administration COVID response. The doc saying the clip was from back in March. It's out of context. He didn't give permission, and he's nonpartisan. ABC's Trevor Alt.
The U.S. with 3 straight days of 50,000 plus cases for the first time since August, with hospitalizations rising in 34 states.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Como News 1000, FM 97.7.
Good evening. It is 5:31. I'm Kelly Blyer with the top local stories from the Como 24/7 News Center. There are new COVID-19 projections from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation. Como's Suzanne Fawn reports health experts at UW say we'll see more COVID-19 cases and more deaths through February 1st.
Capo Bonzola of Belltown is spending as much time as possible outside with his family. They've taken steps to be safe from COVID-19.
Make sure that we don't expose ourselves to too many people and don't expose too many people to us. Be outdoors when possible, not go indoors.
Health experts say things could change when cold weather forces us indoors and closer together. Dr. Ali Mafdad is with the Institute for Metrics and Evaluation at UW.
Yeah, we're very concerned as we are entering fall and winter and we are moving indoors. So.
New IHME numbers just out forecast. By February 1st, nationwide, we can expect to see a total of 395,000 deaths because of COVID-19. That's an increase of 181,000 deaths. Health experts say several factors could be to blame. Colder weather's coming.
Why the virus loves cold weather and we as humans move inside, and when we are interacting inside, there is less air, fresh air being circulated, so the virus is more likely to spread.
Bill Gates hopes folks will be able to get a coronavirus vaccine in the same way they were able to get tested this year in drive-thrus. He spoke about getting back to normal on NBC's Meet the Press today.
Eventually a vaccine that is super effective and that a lot of the people take, and that we get the disease eliminated on a global basis. That is where we can finally start taking all the problems that have been created in education, mental health, and start to build back in a positive way.
Gates predicts multiple vaccines will probably be approved by early next year, but the vaccine's efficacy will range. He says our death toll will be even higher if our response does not improve. Pierce County is seeing a third spike in COVID-19 cases. In the last day, 98 new cases. Como's Patrick Quinn with an update.
COVID spikes in April, then August, now October. Pierce County is seeing a third surge in COVID cases.
That trend is very worrisome for us.
Tacoma Pierce County Health Director Dr. Anthony Chin said today they got calls from 24 businesses, 3 churches, 5 schools, all with new COVID cases.
It just creeps back up, and before you know it, it could explode. So that's what we're worried about.
Pierce County schools, they're already starting to roll back plans to reopen in-person learning. In Puyallup, kindergarten and first graders, they were supposed to go back this week. That was halted. And in the Peninsula School District, with young kids currently in class, now teachers are getting ready to potentially return to remote learning.
We worked to establish platforms that we can make that transition back as the numbers
deemed necessary.
Dr. Chen says if the count continues on this pace, any schools practicing in-person learning should officially make the switch to remote learning by October 26th. Como News Time is 5:34. Let's head over to Como traffic and Evan Smith and get the latest. Do we still have protesters down in downtown?
We still do, yes. March is now moving on Yale Avenue between Stewart Street and Howell Street. Use caution, seek alternative routes through the area. Oh, getting a fresh update now. Now the march is on Denny Way at Stewart Street, blocking the intersections. It's moving along there actively. Meanwhile, northbound 5 just north of Boeing Access Road, we have fallen trees partially blocking the right lane. Our next report is at 5:44. Evan Smith, Como traffic.
Abby Oconee checks our forecast.
We are tracking soggy and windy weather across the Puget Sound lowlands tonight and gearing up for quieter weather overall as we go into Monday before our next fall storm sets its sight to blast through our backyard on Tuesday. Throughout the remainder of this evening, we're gearing up for gusts roughly ranging between 20 and 40 miles per hour, but can't rule out some isolated higher totals over communities like North Bend and over the South Sound. Still watching the possibility for on and off again rain, with those showers wrapping up early tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist Abby Oconee in the Como Weather Center.
Some rain right now, 54 degrees in downtown Seattle. Detectives have made an arrest in the kidnapping and murder of a woman in Mason County. 37-year-old Matthew Collette and 28-year-old Lily Kadeen Craig were arrested in Humboldt County in Northern California today. Both were named as suspects in recent days. Deputies got a call on October 2nd of a woman's body being found on a forest road in the Lake Cushman staircase area. An autopsy determined the woman, identified as Rachel Renee Roberts, had been attacked and suffocated. Deputies and search teams found human remains in a wooded area in Snohomish this weekend, and they believe it is a missing Monroe woman, Kenna Harris. Bank records show all of Kenna Harris's money was withdrawn from her bank account at around the time that she went missing in March. Surveillance video also showed her riding a bus from Monroe to Snohomish. The medical examiner's office is now working to identify those remains. Tacoma firefighters responded to a major commercial fire at 23rd and Taylor Way this morning. The fire was at Gardner Fields, a company that makes asphalt. It's in an industrial area off of Commencement Bay. It broke out around 4 this morning. Firefighters were challenged because of the explosions. Heavy rains are growing concerns about flooding around the Sound. Storm drains clogged with piles of leaves in some neighborhoods are causing some problems. Como's Tammy Mutasa was in Bothell and talked with residents about the challenges they see.
So it's damaged furniture and items in here.
Shane lives across the street from several storm drains at Bothell High School. This is the second time in just weeks another storm sent water racing onto his property, eroding his driveway and pushing debris in his backyard.
It's torn up this pathway. I just fixed it after the last storm.
He is anxiously bracing for another round of roaring rain.
And you can kind of see it. Okay, better get the sandbags out. But this year it happened quickly, and it's not even winter.
Kyle Williams.
Second time in 2 weeks. There's a storm drain there, and that can't handle all this water.
Kyle's basement had some flooding. He's now building this trench to divert water for the next storm.
And it will get as high as up to here. And so basically what I'm doing is getting too high and getting into the back and getting about a foot into the house of water.
From heavy rain to hail-covered yards in Shoreline and Lake Forest Park, even snow over Stevens Pass. Forecasters say the active weather weekend is not over. After living at his home for 10 years, Shane says he'll do his part to prepare, but he hopes for a permanent solution with the storm drains as the weather looms.
Whether they're plugged up with leaves or not, it just doesn't work. We get rivers of water going in our driveway every year. I've complained about it before. It's just poor design.
Como's Tammy Mutasa. A local tribe is now celebrating access to high-speed internet from space.
The Ho tribe, whose reservation sits on the Olympic Peninsula, had unreliable service. Internet speeds were just slightly better than dial-up phone connections from the 1990s, making it difficult for the tribe to do video streaming or Zoom classrooms. But last month, the reservation became a demonstration site for SpaceX's Starlink. Starlink currently has about 760 satellites in orbit, and when it's complete, about 12,000 satellites will be orbiting overhead. Last month, the Washington State Emergency Management also posted a tweet. Starlink brought internet service to the town of Malden while that Whitman County town rebuilds after a devastating wildfire.
That's Como Steve McCarran. A new multi-million-dollar housing complex is now in the hands of the Kitsap County YWCA, and it's coming at a critical time for domestic violence survivors. Right now, domestic violence is on the rise across the country, including right here in Washington State. So it's critical timing that the Pulse Bowl Rotary Club gave the YWCA the keys to a new housing complex for domestic violence.
To formally transfer title and ownership of the Morrow Manor property to the YWCA in May Cleveland. Here you go.
Still a little bit in shock and awe, and we are ready to take on the housing.
Since the pandemic started, the YWCA saw a 40% increase in the need for their service. To put it in perspective, the organization averaged 290 calls a month last year, and during phase one of the stay-home order, those calls jumped to 345 a month, and it's only getting worse. Como News time is 5:40. Seahawks game underway against the Vikings. Let's head to the Beacon Plumbing Sports Desk, and Dave Lewis has the latest.
In pursuit of the best start in franchise history at 5-0, Seahawks taking on Minnesota at home. Vikings have scored first, 7-0 Minnesota in the opening period. Lakers trying to close it out in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, leading Miami 46-32. Rajon Rondo with a big game off the bench, 11 points in 8 minutes for Los Angeles. Lakers lead that series 3-2. Game 1 of the ALCS, Houston with a lead over Tampa Bay, 1-0 third inning. Rafa Nadal does it again, his 13th French Open title, 20th Grand Slam, a straight sets win over Novak Djokovic. And Se-Yeon Kim, a 5-shot win at the Women's LPGA Championship, ending at 14 under par. Sports at 10 and 40 past the hour. I'm Dave Lewis. Como News.
The available AKG 36 speaker sound system in the Cadillac Escalade provides 360-degree sound, so you hear studio sound on the road. The 2021 Cadillac Escalade never stop arriving.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could see what's cooking by knocking on the oven door or lounging on the sofa? Lowe's has now added an LG Smooth Surface electric range that does just that. Knock twice on the door, the oven light comes on. Use the ThinkQ app on a smartphone and check in from anywhere. Another exciting feature is the built-in air fry. You can quickly prepare snacks like fries, hot wings, and more for the crunch you crave without the oil. When you're ready to bring home innovation this fall, Lowe's is here with just what you need. Available on Android, iOS, and LG devices. An LG ThinkQ account is required. U.S. only.
Today's the day to save big and drive home a new Toyota with huge factory cash back, like $3,500 back on a new 2020 Avalon or Avalon Hybrid, $3,000 back on Camry Hybrid, $1,750 back on Sienna, Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or RAV4, $1,500 on Camry. There's even $1,250 back on RAV4 Hybrid. So hurry in today. We make it easy. Must take delivery from 2020 new car dealer stock by midnight November 2nd. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Toyota. Let's go places.
I started going cold turkey, at least when I'm in the car.
I know I shouldn't do it, but it's so hard to stop. My solution is simple. I just don't do it.
There are lots of ways to stop yourself and others from texting and driving. How will you stop? Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Right now, more than 125,000 children are waiting to be adopted from foster care. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption works around the clock to find them the permanent, loving homes they deserve. You can help. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Think your child might have swallowed the wrong medication, gotten into your household products, had a reaction to a bite or a sting? Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. Save the number. Save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
That sound is why we fund life-saving science. That sound is why we push you to be healthier. That sound is why we have an unhealthy obsession with your health at American Heart Association. Get the facts at heart.org/yourhealth.
In Africa, 5-year-old Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. Together, we can end their walk. Because when you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
Como traffic.
Still working on these trees down on northbound 5 just north of Boeing Access Road, blocking the right lane. State Patrol's on scene helping you around this little bit of a mess right there. It's not causing much of a slowdown for you, thankfully. We do have a march moving along on Denny Way at Stewart Street, blocking the intersection. Again, word of a collision on State Route 103 northbound near 98th Place. Use caution, expect delays through the area. Our next report is at 5:54. I'm Evan Smith, Como Traffic.
The Como Forecast.
We are tracking rain and wind across western Washington tonight with quieter and more tranquil conditions overall as we go into Monday before next fall storm moves through western Washington on Tuesday. For tonight, we will be dealing with some scattered showers from time to time. Rain could come down at a moderate or even heavy rate. Convergence zone, a possibility over portions of Skagit, Snohomish, or King counties, primarily up over the higher elevations of the foothills. Gusts between 20 and 40 miles per hour for many. I'm meteorologist Abby Coney in the Como Weather Center.
Stay connected. Stay informed. The Northwest's only 24-hour news station. Como News 1000, FM 97.7.
Battleground states will probably decide the upcoming presidential election, and one state pundits are looking at is Arizona. President Trump won it 4 years ago, but the demographics are changing. What will happen this year? ABC's Alex Perche reports.
From ABC News, it's This Week. Here now, Chief White House Correspondent Jonathan Carr.
We've paid too high a price already for Donald Trump's chaotic, divisive leadership. Nearly 6,000 Arizonans have been lost. 122,000 jobs in Arizona still haven't come back.
Arizona and America need 4 more years of President Donald Trump. We are 26 days away from another great victory for the American people, and the road to victory runs right through Arizona.
Vice Presidents Pence and Biden both targeting Arizona this week, where 3 million absentee ballots have already been sent to voters. President Trump carried Arizona by 3.5 points in 2016, but rapidly changing demographics have put this once solidly red state into play. So can Donald Trump win it again, or is Arizona poised to turn blue? ABC's Alex Perche traveled to Maricopa County to speak with independent voters for the latest installment of our series, 6 for the Win.
I'll put your chair down.
Even though the temperature still registers in the triple digits, every afternoon between 4 and 6, Linda and Tom Rawls walk to the edge of their dirt driveway in Carefree, Arizona, and hold up their Joe Biden signs.
We see you yesterday. We're out here every day, 4 hours a day.
They get honks, thumbs ups, the occasional middle finger, and they wave back at them all.
It's our therapy.
It's better than sitting on the couch watching the news doing nothing.
Lifelong Republicans until 2016, the Rawls weren't fans of Donald Trump, so they voted for Gary Johnson. But this November, they'll proudly vote Democrat.
Is there anything in particular that puts you over the edge?
So we were sort of already there, but certainly Charlottesville is the time when I said enough.
Because right now in the Republican Party, if you're not a fan in the cult of Donald Trump, you're not welcome, and they will tell you that.
You don't feel welcome?
Oh, no. No. As a matter of fact, when we sit out there with our signs, one of the things we hear the most often is go home. And we're trying to figure out, since we're at the end of our own driveway, where home is supposed to be.
Arizona State Public Affairs professor Dr. Tom Riley says independents have turned this formerly bright red state purple and could help push it blue this time around. As a third of the state's electorate, independents are trending towards Biden by a whopping 25 points in the latest New York Times Siena poll, 53-28.
What we're seeing is general frustration to the divisiveness that is occurring in Washington and across the United States, and people are searching for a different way.
That's especially noticeable among Latino voters.
They're just taking it for granted and thinking, oh, okay, well, they're Latinos and they're going to go ahead and lean Democrat. That's not the case.
Carolyn Van Oosten doesn't like how the Latino voters have traditionally been taken for granted. Born and raised in the Dominican Republic, she came to the U.S. during her college years. She voted for Obama in 2008 and has ping-ponged between parties ever since. Despite being disappointed in a lack of focus on the issues, she will vote for Biden.
A lot of the Democratic Party has been neglecting to really address that issue of immigration, and they're really up for grabs, and they are having a hard time making a decision of which way to go because no one is addressing the issues that matter to them most.
Maricopa County, which includes Phoenix, has by far the largest voting population in the state, and the county went for Trump by 3 points in 2016.
He follows through on what he says.
Barbie Ruin also voted for Gary Johnson in 2016, but now likes what she's seen from President Trump.
Since coronavirus has come out, our economy has stayed fairly stable. And that to me is astonishing, especially considering the number of people who are out of jobs because they can't go in. He's allowing the states to make the decisions for themselves, which is what it should be.
The one thing we found all the voters we talked to here want? To turn down the temperature a little bit.
I pray to get back to a country where we can have conversations, where we don't agree on every issue and we can still be friends. And I know that sounds rather cliche, but that's really my deepest prayer.
For This Week, I'm Alex Perche in Carefree, Arizona.
Your money at 20 and 50 past the hour on Como News.
Now it's time for the Propel Insurance Money Update.
The region's biggest biotechnology company has a new name. Seattle Genetics, which is actually in Bothell, announced via a regulatory filing the other day that it has changed its name to Seagen. The biotech company, which has about 1,600 employees, says it decided on the name change because it has begun to expand its presence beyond the Pacific Northwest. A big week is ahead for shoppers, and that has scammers trying new attempts to steal your identity. With both Amazon Prime Day and Target Deal Day fast approaching, the Better Business Bureau says con artists claiming to be with Amazon are calling people and saying they need information about their accounts to help with a failed credit card payment or other issue. Then they seek to have you verify your personal information. Don't fall for it. That's Your Money Now. I'm Jim Chesko, Como News.
Breathe in, breathe out, and take in the healing qualities of Ayurveda at Southern California University of Health Sciences, balancing your mind, body, and spirit.
After living with my arthritis for over 10 years, I made the choice. Thanks to the personalized treatment I received, I now live a pain-free life.
Discover how Ayurveda can change your life at findyourbalancetoday.com.
Before your next flooring job, make Lowe's your first stop. See the latest styles in our new flooring showroom. We carry more tile, more vinyl, more laminate and hardwood than ever before. Whatever you need, we have the job lot quantities you expect at bulk pricing to save you money. Shop in store or online at lowesforpros.com. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Our pro team can help you get the job done right and on time. It's just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Regina King for Cadillac Escalade. When people ask, Regina, do you like to compete? I say, bring it on. Those are the moments that drive you to achieve more. And when you win, you keep reaching higher. To me, that's what the Cadillac Escalade represents. It's always evolving in technology, in design, everything. Because success isn't the end, it's just the first step to what comes next.
The 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Never stop arriving.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update!
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Today's the day to save big and drive home a new Toyota with huge factory cash back, like $3,500 back on a new 2020 Avalon or Avalon Hybrid, $3,000 back on Camry Hybrid, $1,750 back on Sienna, Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or RAV4, $1,500 on Camry. There's even $1,250 back on RAV4 Hybrid. So hurry in today. We make it easy. Must take delivery from 2020 new car dealer stock by midnight November 2nd. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Toyota. Let's go places.
Traffic.
No blocking issues to report on our freeways in Seattle. We have a march moving on Denny Way, now moving westbound at West Lake Avenue. Use caution, seek alternative routes through the area. Meanwhile, we have a bit of hesitation still on northbound 5, right around at JBLM main gate, also right around the Tacoma Dome. These two are due in part to an earlier crash by the 101 interchange that has since cleared, but had a bit of a backup build behind that, and it took a while for it to dissipate. And southbound 5 still getting caught up just a bit around the Ship Canal Bridge. Our next report is at 6:04. Bevan Smith, KOMO Traffic.
The KOMO forecast.
We are tracking blustery conditions across the greater Seattle area and western Washington as a whole. In general, those gusts tonight ranging between 20 and 40 miles per hour, but I can't entirely rule out some isolated higher gusts over communities like North Bend or possibly the South Sound. Those wind speeds start gradually subsiding after midnight, dying down overall by sunrise tomorrow. Similarly, we will be dealing with some rain tonight, with that starting to wrap up tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist Abby Aconi in the KOMO Weather Center.
With coronavirus cases spiking in a majority of U.S. states, alarm and concern also rising. But Americans are continuing to do what they've always done, putting one foot in front of the other with eyes trained on getting through this pandemic. ABC's Trevor Ault with one story.
Across the country, Americans continue to step up. Single mother Lunisal Guzman lost her life to the virus, leaving 2 young adopted children behind. Now her 2 adult daughters, Catherine and Jennifer, are raising those kids as their own.
She wouldn't have it any other way. I want them to remember that even though mommy's not here, we will always be.
And much like the rest of the country, here in New York, officials are monitoring hotspot areas, accounting for nearly a fifth of the state's new cases.